Hi, this is Vanessa, all ready for another Strictly Roundup, and thank you for your comments, which I absolutely adore. Keep them coming in, even if you disagree with me. It's a good lesson to me to read them. Keep the comments coming in, and if you want to see what I think about Strictly, please hit the subscribe button. The BBC are trying to make mincemeat of the Wynne and Catcher controversy. They're trying to say there's nothing at all to see here, move on, don't give it any more thought. But when they say nothing to see here, one of the things you couldn't see was Wynne, because every time all the contestants and the professionals clustered together in the Clauditorium, Wynne seemed to be absent. I don't know what they'd done to him. I don't know if they put him behind a large bit of scenery, but Wynne was nowhere to be seen. And then, of course, Catcher and Wynne danced the quick step to Mr. Blue Sky. Look, I'm no dance expert. It was fine, perfectly adequate, nothing wrong with it at all. Perfectly fine. But 33 points, just 1 point less than Ali, Ash and Tasha. Do me a favour, they're absolutely magnificent. Wynne and Catcher, reasonable. I think it was felt by many people watching, including me, that the judges massively overcompensated for the controversy surrounding Wynne and Catcher by hugely marking them up, generously giving them an abundant mark of 33 that they didn't really deserve. So Wynne and Catcher somehow seem to be still enshrined in a bubble of controversy. When will it go away?
The dance-off this week, Vanessa, was JB Gill and Paul Merson. JB, one of Britain's most beloved farmers, a former boy band member. Were you surprised to see him in the bottom?
I was absolutely astounded to see JB Gill, one of Britain's most beloved farmers, in the dance-off. My God, he's of JLS fame. We love him. What was Aston Marigold thinking when he saw his beloved bandmate there in the dance-off? Did JB deserve to be in that dance-off? He most definitely did not. Did a fantastic dance this week, and actually he's incredibly light on his feet. He's a very, very good dancer, really accomplished, really speedy, flexible, versatile, and also he's from JLS, for God's sake. What more does anyone want? Marvin must be devastated. Rochelle was probably devastated to see him down there in the dance-off. Actually did make a few mistakes in the dance-off, but he's a most adorable fellow, and I'm very glad that the judges decided to keep him. But one of the things that was uncovered by this was it doesn't do to be in the middle of the leaderboard, A, because if you're in the middle, there's nobody really rooting for you. People don't think to bother to vote for you. And B, don't be the first couple to dance, because last week Shane Ward was the first one to dance. This week JB Gill was the first one to dance. Both of them ended up in the dance-off. So do whatever you can, fight the corner. Make sure you don't have to go first.
Paul Merson has left the competition. What did you make of his efforts as a dancer? Were you surprised to see him go, considering how beloved he is to football and particularly Arsenal fans?
Paul Merson is adorable, and he competed in Strictly with real humour, self-deprecating fun, and what's better, he tried hard. He wasn't just taking the razz, taking the shilling and saying, hey, I'm the kind of guy that can't dance. He was someone who was really, really giving it his best shot. So Karen Hauer, his partner, said he's what Strictly's all about, a journey from being a non-dancer to a dancer. What happened, though, was he's kicked out in week 5, and pretty much everyone's relieved by that, because otherwise he turns into one of those John Sargents who just never goes home and kicks around for ages, and far better dancers bite the dust, and there's Paul Merson still doing his utmost but not very well. So it was a great relief, I'm sure, to everyone concerned, probably him included, to wave him adieu. But my gosh, he did it with style, and he did it with grace, and he did it with a great deal of humour, and he's a lovely guy.
Pete and Poonam were also at the bottom of the table this week. They're two people we love. Pete, possibly for slightly different reasons than Poonam. Are you worried about those two going forward?
I'm very concerned that all the P's are to pee and not to pee. I'm very concerned that Pete Wicks and our lovely Poonam ended up at the bottom of the leaderboard. Why will I miss Pete? I will miss Pete, I suppose, I'm a woman of a certain age, for the same reasons that Shirley told us, and remember, it's never too early for a 10 from Shirley, and she told us that she will be thinking of Pete Wicks' hip action, that figure of 8 that he made with his hips. She's going to be thinking of that all week, and I can't say that I won't either. I'm sure I'll be thinking of the very same thing for the very same reasons. Shirley and I have that in common. So do we want to see the back of Pete Wicks? Yes, but not on Strictly. We want him to stay there till the very end. And I think he's dancing far better than the judges will admit. I think Pete Wicks is graceful, he's beautiful to look at, and he's a nifty dancer. So I'm very, very keen that he stays in. And as for Poonam, I mean, we love Poonam. She brings joy, energy, she brings intelligence, integrity. She's adorable. I hope Poonam stays in for a very long time. And I must say, when she was standing there waiting to see if she'd survived another week, the anguish was written all over her face. You thought, oh, please preserve her for one more week at least. Poonam, come on, you deserve to be there. Chris McCausland's dance this week with Diane Buswell, a waltz to You'll Never Walk Alone, was one of the most emotionally moving things I've ever seen, not just on Strictly, but anywhere else either. There was this unbelievable moment where Diane danced away from him, and to the background of You'll Never Walk Alone, Chris McCausland, who is blind, as we all know, walked and danced solo across this vast expanse of the Strictly floor. And I don't know about you, but I was weeping. I was so moved. Tears were just plopping down my cleavage. It was just the most wonderful, amazing, brave, moving, true moments of Strictly. It was absolutely wonderful. And everybody that I've spoken to since said they had exactly the same reaction. He is a beautiful dancer, absolutely accomplished dancer. And his vulnerability and courage together as he walked across that open empty floor was absolutely remarkable, and I hope he makes it all the way through to the final.
On the leaderboard, Tasha finished 4th this week with 34 points. Do you think some of the judges have been slightly harsh on her?
I think there's always an anomaly with the Strictly marking. Some people get unfairly marked up and some people get unfairly marked down. And we all know, having watched Strictly for 20 years, that the very best dancers get the harshest marking. And that is because the judges don't want anyone to think it's a fait accompli. So nobody wants anyone to think that Tasha Gowrie came in on day one and was going straight to the final. They want it to seem as if she's had pitfalls and there have been problems along the way and obstacles, and one week she didn't dance that well, but she dances beautifully, divinely. I mean, she's a professional dancer, isn't she? So she and Aliash were absolutely magical, but ended up with only 34 marks. They deserved higher, and if they've got any sense at all, they won't take it seriously. It's just theatrics on the judges' part. The moment where you're waiting for the scores is positively horrific. When you're at home watching it, eating your tea at the same time, gossiping with your family, enjoying yourself, you probably think it's a bit pantomime and you don't take it that seriously. But when you're actually standing there being criticised heavily by this team of experts while 14 million people watch your humiliation, I've got to say it's not fun at all. And I remember very clearly Darcy Bustle saying, "Vanessa, the cha-cha-cha is not your dance." And it was the only dance I'd done. So I thought, what do you mean it's not my dance? It's the only dance I've ever done in my life. How do you know this is not my dance? It may be the only dance I ever do. So, you know, it was a bit kind of chastening. I was thoroughly crestfallen. And there was nothing pantomime about it at all. It felt very real. Okay, we call her Fire in my house. My grandson AJ, who's 5, is a massive, absolutely devoted fan of Montel Douglas, which is her real name. She's a gladiator, but my God, that gladiator exterior has been concealing the heart, the body, and the movements of a really ferociously accomplished dancer. She's doing brilliantly. She's dancing with Johannes. The two of them have bonded. They're going great guns. They absolutely killed it this week. I think Montel might be the one to watch.
Is there any particular couple you'd like to see do the Monster Mash?
Who would I like to see do the Monster Mash on Halloween week? I think I'd like to see Jamie Borthwick of EastEnders fame bring his animal magnetism to the Monster Mash. I think only he can really give it the weight and significance it deserves. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with another Strictly Roundup next week. Keep your comments coming. But if you don't just love dancing, you love sex, you love rumpy pumpy, you love a knee trembler, you love a bit of How's Your Father, the hurly-burly of the chaise longue, don't forget to watch my what can I call it? My panting response to Jilly Cooper's Rivals, which is absolutely soaring up the charts on Disney+. If you remember the 80s, you probably weren't there, but if you think you'd like to have lived through the 80s, particularly the sex life, then you can't miss my comment on Rivals. Just push the subscribe button.